Senator Udall.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and let me say that a group of us from the committee, 4 of us on this committee, Senator Flake headed up a CODEL, bipartisan CODEL, 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans. We went over into the Baltic region and met with leaders from 4 countries, and leaders at all levels, from presidents to prime ministers to parliamentarians, and I'm sure Chairman Corker's already mentioned this, but they were very, very concerned with where President Trump is going on trade, and then very specifically a lot of talking about tariffs. And the discussion went along the lines, I mean, we've been your friends. Now you're calling us under this 232 section enemies and the threat to national security. So they really are they're not happy about this. They don't understand it. They think that we're headed for a trade war, that this you start and then it starts spiraling down and nobody has control of it. And so I don't see from anything I've heard today from you what the exit strategy is here, what's the end game. Clearly we have some things that we should be doing on trade, but I really don't see that the president's listening. Do you have any evidence the president's listening to foreign leaders about what's going on, what they're recommending? Because I think it's almost unanimous that foreign leaders are telling him, you're headed in the wrong direction. Is he listening to foreign leaders? It's just a yes or no.
Well, Senator, thank you for the question. I do think that there is an end game.
I'm not asking about the end game. I'm asking, is President Trump listening to foreign leaders? The answer is easy answer. Just tell me no.
President Trump has regular conversations with foreign leaders.
Yeah, he's not listening to them, ma'am. He's not listening to them. And let me under this piece of law here, the Trade Expansion Act requires Commerce to consult with the Department of Defense and other agencies making a determination under 232, right? Well, I don't even think the president is listening to his own agencies. Here is a report where the consultation is going on. Secretary Mattis writes to Secretary Ross and says, current domestic capacity, they're talking about the aluminum and the steel like that, that this is some big national security issue, is actually sufficient to meet national defense requirements, and that DOD, and this is a direct quote from Secretary Mattis, DOD is concerned that the negative impact on our key allies regarding the recommended options within the Commerce reports. So even within the government, the Trump administration, you have agencies speaking out and saying, there are no national security issues here. I mean, this is very, very unusual, I think, and unprecedented what this administration is doing. Let me just say a quick word about NAFTA, and I know the chairman wants to move on, so I'll stay within my time here. But free trade agreements that we've negotiated to the benefit of the world's largest corporations and their shareholders. I've consistently argued on these free trade agreements that they should do much more, guarantee labor protections, secure commitments to environmental stewardship, and NAFTA is no exception. It entered into force 25 years ago, and I support the effort, and I've talked to Secretary Ross about making sure that we try to improve NAFTA. Actually, Secretary Ross told me, he said it's going to be done in 90 days. And that was before he took over. He said, we've been working on this for years, be done in 90 days. Here we are today, 17 months later, and there's no end game there. So here's a specific example about what's happening with trades in New Mexico and how it's hurting New Mexico under NAFTA. There's a company called Southwest Steel Coil. Almost all of the exports are finished products from the United States, U.S. workers, been down to Mexico. The response to the U.S. actions will be devastating to businesses like this that rely on a production process that moves back and forth across the border. Companies will be forced out of business, and they will be required to pay a new tariff every step of the way. You're going to put companies out of business in New Mexico with these tariffs. Thank you.
Thank you.